Going to be a quick review of the NAMs that we received the other day. So the other day, you saw us open up the box, and it was too late to set it up then, but we're out here today to set it up. We're pretty excited about doing this. We're not going to go through the step-by-step instructions on how to set it up. You can go over to Hilleberg's website, and they've got a couple videos you can watch. We do recommend, though, that you follow their instructions, especially with the pole handling. Opening the poles, inserting them into the tent, removing the poles. They'll explain all that. The reason we say that is because our Nallo tent, we followed their instructions. We haven't had any problems. The poles are still great. There's no tears in the tent. So I recommend following their instructions. So here we go. Everything's still in the wrappers. We're not going to set up the mesh tent today. We'll show you that in another video one day. So I'm going to set this down. The footprint, which we're going to have to install. The stakes we're not going to use. We got these just as extras for like our tarp or whenever you lose one, which you will lose some. And then the prize, the tent. So we get all this out of the way. So put this back in here, put the stakes back in here because we're not going to need those today. And first thing we're going to do is pull out the footprint, lay it out, put this over here out of the way. Yeah. Now it is front and back, top and bottom. So, okay, the way it is, the shiny part goes up, but also the label, this is pretty much where the door is going to be, that faces up as well, so there's no mistaking. And the front is also tapered. It goes with the layout of the tent. So we'll lay this out first. Pull it back your way just a little bit. Okay. And to attach the footprint inside of the tent, which we'll show you, there are little rings. You're gonna take the little, I guess, anchors, if you want to call them anchors. You're gonna just pop them into the eyelets, and we'll show you how to do that. With the footprint attached, it's the only time you got to do that. That stays on the whole time. So now we pull out the poles. And the stakes. I'm just going to put the bag in our box here for now. Hang on to the stakes. These are the poles. First thing I noticed about the poles when compared to the ones that come with our Nallo is these are definitely a little thicker. They feel a little beefier. I believe they're 10 millimeters, and I think the ones for the Nallo, for the red label tents, are 9 millimeters. So we're putting all this stuff in our box here for now. Also with this tent, all the poles are the same length, so there's no red tape or red marker to line up. So again, like we mentioned earlier, when you're doing this, follow Hilleberg's instructions, and these poles should last you a long, long time. There are 6 of these, 3 on this side, 3 on the other. I'm not going to do the other side just to give you an idea. These are used for really bad weather conditions, very stormy. We did have to do this several times while we were doing our travels with our Nallo. So, and there's also additional stake points by each of the poles where you could put a stake in as well for additional security. I'm not going to do that for now. You only need that during severe weather conditions. So now, it's a beautiful tent. So as we mentioned, I'm going to put these down. This is we kind of upgraded from our Nallo GT. It wasn't that we were disappointed with the Nallo. It's a beautiful tent. There's just some features that we think we would like better with this tent. So I mean, if you're on the fence, you're not going to go wrong with, well, we can't really say what it's like traveling with this one, but we will say the Nallo, you can't go wrong with that tent. This one's a little heavier material, and there's some features that I'm going to show you that this tent has that the Nallo GT does not have, although it does come with, you know, with a negative. This one is 2 pounds heavier than the Nallo. I think this one's coming in just under 9 pounds, whereas the Nallo is under 7 pounds without the footprint. I believe the footprint adds about 1 pound to each tent, so that kind of takes away from the difference. The things that we like about this one that we think are going to be better: one, it's heavier material. We believe that maybe the ventilation will be better with this one because it has 2 vents at the top, whereas the Nallo has one at the top there and one at the bottom. So we don't know yet, we'll find out. And also what we like about this one, which we'll show you, is it has screens, no seam mesh that you can open up or you can close depending on how buggy it is. That would have been nice in some areas that we were at when the bugs were just real bad. It would help minimize the mosquitoes, especially when we were up in the Finland, Arctic Circle area. So also, if I mention this one has a little more headroom all the way back, whereas the Nallo would slant down. So another reason we kind of upgraded. And the vestibule area, although this is really not a selling point for us because we had plenty of room with the Nallo for the vestibule, but this one is a little bit larger. So overall, I believe that's about it really. So we're going to show you some of the things that we like about this one. First off, the door. This door opens in 2 ways. If you're in snow area, or you know, you want to, if you're in snow that's up high and you want to keep the snow from going in, you can open, I believe, yes, you can open the tent like this, which would keep the snow out if it's already out here. I don't know how often we're going to be in those conditions, but that is a plus. As you can see, there's the mesh here, the screen, which we're going to get to. Now, I do believe this door can come all the way off based on the zipper design. Yeah, it looks like it does. I'm not going to take it off. But the zipper, it's actually, there's another door, you could unzip it this way as well up if you wanted to. Always try to keep your zippers from getting on the ground and getting nasty. It'll last you much longer that way. Sometimes you can't help it. And you got the screen. This is neat. This is very neat. So you unzip this. And again, you can take this all the way out, or you can just zip it down. And inside, I just happened to notice there's a bag. And I'm gonna go ahead and just stow this in there for now. But you can also wrap it up and clamp it down here if you wanted to as well. So now, as you see, as I mentioned earlier, the footprint, the name goes by the door and it's up. So there's no question when you're putting this in. You'll notice in here, and there's lots of room. I mean, all of our bags used to fit right there. So you still had even this area just to hang out if you wanted to during bad weather. And to point out again, the footprint just goes right into those little hooks there. You know, it's in each of the points. And then over there, if you can see, and we'll make adjustments because actually, yeah. So that's the footprint. We do recommend getting a footprint with your tent. It will help with condensation, and it's just a nicer area to hang out when you're hanging out, or when you have to hang out because of the bad weather. So inside, as we mentioned, there are 2 vents, one in the front, one in the back. You can see it's blocked right now. You can unzip this. And you can roll it up, tuck it out of the way. And you have the screen here to help bugs, but it also will allow some air to come in. However, you want to maximize the airflow. You really want to get a lot of airflow. As with any mesh tent, you need to open it. And again, this here, roll it up. And it comes with its own little loop, and you just use the same anchor point that you did the inner flap with. So now you probably, I mean, obviously this is our first time setting it up. You don't want to have this too tight because it seems like it would probably bind a little bit on the zipper. So I want to just keep that in mind. Now the inner tent, as you can tell, if you're new to Hilleberg, they're tunnel design tents, meaning you should set them up into the wind to allow the maximum air to come in. The air comes inside and flows around your inner tent and then out the back. So now I'll show you that, what I'm talking about. The way the inner tent hooks in, the same hooks as you find all the way around. You see that? These are kind of elasticy, where this one's not. This one's pretty, this is stiff fabric, just because I guess that's where all the weight is, the load bearing. This is your inner tent. This is the sleeping area. There's also a screen and then an inner screen, which I'm going to open up and show you now. Oh, and I would also like to say this here, if you wanted to, you can also take it down. Of course, this is all explained on Hilleberg's website as well, but it's very simple to do. It takes only a matter of a minute, and you could take this out if you wanted to, which sometimes if it's super wet, you take this out, store it different place than you would your tent here until you can set this up later in the day to dry, which we did numerous times as well. The tent dries very fast. And you just open this up again. Try not to let it drop down. And right now this is nice and clean, so I'm just demonstrating it for you. What we would do when we were loading up the tent, you can either, again, it has the hooks here to roll it up into, but what we would do is just stuff it in there for right now. And we'd put all of our stuff in here. So now I'm going inside. Now we notice this is the same construction as our Nallo. It's got the bathtub design, which means it comes up, it's sealed all the way up. It has the two pockets, and it has the clothesline, which you will use. Now this is different, whereas in the Nallo, you can open this up, and of course you just roll it up again, tuck it away. But I'm noticing this here can open up. This now in the Nallo you can't open this. This is fixed. So we're going to open this up, and again roll it up, secure it. It's also new and tight. And this is the back vent, whereas the Nallo, the vent was down below, so the air had to come over and go out the back bottom side. We're hoping this will provide better ventilation. But you have the same design up front as you do in the back. It's covered to keep in heat. We're guessing to help, but you can, I'm not gonna roll it up because you already saw me do it there, but it has the same anchor points, same loop, so you can roll it up, tuck it away. And then again, another a no-seam mesh here to allow some air, but keep the bugs out. But to maximize that air, you can open this up. And I can already feel the air coming through already. It's pretty nice. So yeah, I do think this tent's gonna be a better ventilation. Yeah, it's the same, the inner feels the same as our Nallo does. So, but the outer is a little bit thicker material. One of the neat things too I want to point out before I forget, which I find to be very neat, and that I only know Hilleberg does, is that their tents are made in Estonia. I hope you can read that. Made in Estonia. And it's made by Karen Rods. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read it. But it's neat that the person that stitched your tent up has their name inside here. You know, I can't speak for the other big names. I mean, we've owned a few tents from the other big names, and they're, you know, you don't get that. You know, it's imported, made in wherever, but, you know, probably mass produced. But this here's, to me, that's that. I mean, that's what I really like about Hilleberg is that point. Besides, they make great products and their customer service is top notch. When you order a tent, they will send you a repair kit which comes with the different sliders you need. Should your sliders wear out, which they will wear out over time, it's normal. We had to replace ours on our Nallo after, you know, a year of using it, and we do have a video which I can link down below to show you how to do that. It's really easy to do, and it can be done in the field with, you know, our video will explain all that to you. So you get that, and you get some fabric that matches your tent. We never needed that, although our Nallo tent did get a couple small punctures you know, over the time, and we just used some like, I think it's called Seal It or Seal Net or something like that, you know, and you put on there and let it dry, and it worked fine too. What I want to point out before we go is I'm gonna go inside and show you this, just so you can see there is another screen in here. So you can open this up all the way. And again, there's the tie downs. If you wanted a little privacy, you can always zip it up a little bit. And the same goes with the screen itself. If you wanted to open that up to allow more air in, you could do that, and it allows more air, but you would have, you know, more privacy if you were laying down. You know, you can't really see in. So you'll also notice the additional strength where each of the stake points are, especially in the corners. Each of the corners are like this. It's stitched on, some very nice stitching, 2 spots. It's kind of actually stitched to itself, so it's really pulling on itself here. Unlike some of the tents that we've used in the past where these are kind of glued on or maybe have a stitch, they like to come off. It's a very nice feature also, very, very durable. This is on the back side of the tent. The poles go in only on one way, on the other side by the door, the opening. They come in and they slide into these pockets here. So when you are setting it up, make sure these go all the way down. You'll know if you're not all the way in because you won't be able to get the other side in the cup. But in here again, these are the extra loops if you needed additional staking. We never needed these, or we only used maybe once or twice when we weren't in that bad of weather with our Nallo. So nice little pocket. And then when you take the tent down, if you watch Hilleberg's instructions, you push from this side, you push the pole out. You do not pull the pole, you push, and you push it all the way out. That'll help protect the tent and the poles. And again, if you follow their instructions, you shouldn't have any issues. We haven't, and our Nallo's been set up, like I said, more than a year's, 365 times easily, and it's still holding up nice. The other thing that's different about this tent that is different from the Nallo is the Nallo had the vent was down here below. The Nammatj has 2 stake points back here, which is different for us. One thing I just now noticed, which I didn't know about either, was we're at the back of the tent, and you can actually open and close the vents from out here, which I did not know. I thought you had to do it only from the inside. So I can zip up the inside. Okay, now the inner tent you have to do from the inside. That's no big deal. But you can actually open and close these from out here. There you go. Nice, I did not know that. We just learned that now. And here are the other reflective tabs that are on the back, just like in the front, one on each side. So that was a quick review of the Nammatj. I'm probably saying it wrong, but anyway. Like I said, there's an upgrade from our Nallo. Some of the features that are on this we think are going to be more beneficial for long-term traveling. As I mentioned earlier, if you're on the fence which one to go with, you can't go probably wrong with either one. We'll give a more in-depth review on this as we've used it. We're going to do one for the Nallo. Since we've set that tent up and lived in it for close to 2 years, it's not like this one we just bought. We're just now talking about it. I can't really give an honest opinion. I got to be inside bouncing around. I got to get out. So again, I will link how to replace the sliders in the down below. If you like the review, give it a like. They're free, doesn't cost you anything. Give us some feedback, some questions, comments. You know, we're kind of new at the review stuff, so I'm sure they'll get better over time. Thank you.